Okay, first final of the season is set. It's a juicy game. It's Manchester City against Arsenal. I was at both these second legs this week. Last time the pair met in a final was 2018, and Mikel Arteta at the time was City's assistant manager. Arsenal could definitely do with getting a trophy locked in. Some might say it is City's best hope for silverware. But speaking to Tijani Reinders last night, he said that they're going to hunt Arsenal down. We'll talk about that shortly, Dean, but who needs it more?
I think Mikel Arteta. I think it would be huge for them with what they're going for towards the back end of the season to win that first trophy and sort of not get that off his back, because I think they are going to win something this season, but certainly to quieten down a few doubters about their credentials in getting over the line. And until that happens, I guess he will have to take that from the media, from opposition supporters.
It will be the 22nd time that Manchester City have been to Wembley under Pep Guardiola. It's the 32nd occasion since 2011 when Yaya Touré's goal in the FA Cup semi-final kind of opened the trophy floodgates. I'm sure that they will fill their allocation, but it was a little bit concerning last night, wasn't it, that there were so many empty seats at the Etihad, Crook?
Listen, this is always quite a political debate to get into when it comes to Manchester City and their supporters. I think a lot of them probably felt the tie was won after the first leg, which it was. You know, the game was effectively over after 7 minutes in midweek. There's a financial crisis that I think is affecting everybody. Cost of living. We just had Christmas. They played a lot of midweek games in the Champions League because of the extra match in the league format. So I won't hammer them too much, and I'm sure they will sell their allocation, but it was quite a soulless environment, wasn't it, for you to be commentating in on Wednesday night?
I just wonder whether or not the club could have done a little bit more. Speaking to some of the Manchester City supporters that were there, the suggestion is that the prices had not been reduced to sort of reflect the situation in the game. So therefore, it wasn't like they'd encouraged everybody to come along and get involved. So by making tickets cheaper to ensure that they had a full sellout crowd. I think sometimes when you're in that situation, you've almost got to cut your losses. It's not like Manchester City don't make enough money. If you look at their commercial revenue, it's 400 million quid a year they get from commercial revenue. Their match day revenue isn't as high as someone like Manchester United or Arsenal or whatever. But the way to build that is by getting more people in early in their life. You know, make tickets a quid or whatever, get more people from the local area in, so that over time you're building up the level of fan base. Pep, in his latest pronouncement, thinks that the EFL should change the rules for him. Mark Gahey should be allowed to play in the final. He's our player. We bought him, he said. He's not on loan. Mark Guiu scored for Sunderland in round 3, played for Chelsea later in the tournament, including in the semi-final. Semenyo has played for both Palace and Manchester City in this tournament. The EFL, Dean Ashton, have opened the door to this sort of talk, haven't they, with that rule change earlier in the campaign?
Yes, yes, they have, and I think that's probably why Pep is so frustrated, and probably feels like he can't understand why Semenyo has been able to play, but Gay can't. And it's probably because right now it feels so important that he is available because of their lack of centre back availability. I know Ruben Diaz was back on the bench last night, but that's probably another reason why it's irked him slightly. And it just feels as if at the moment he is kind of batting a lot of the questions back to the media, and he's not just letting things go at the moment.
Crookie, are we comfortable with Dean being in this room? Is he as relaxed as he usually is when he's got the dashboard in front of him and the furry dice? I'm not sure. He doesn't feel like he's in a comfortable environment there. I'm slightly worried. Looks a little bit soulless. Should we get him a potted plant for his birthday or something? I'm slightly worried about it.
He needs a picture of you and I on the wall behind him.
Yeah, I think he does. Something like that. Talking of disappointing environments, Eddie Howe got a lot of stick on social media last night. I mean, that is nonsense. I mean, the fact that the travelling fans sang his name loudly when the team are 3-0 down at the Etihad Stadium, I think sends more of a powerful message of support and unity in what is clearly a difficult time from the match-going fans. This is a guy who isn't under pressure, and nor should he be, Crook.
No, we had the chief executive David Hopkinson on our programme up at Newcastle on Wednesday, and he was very wholesome in his praise of Eddie Howe. Says they have a brilliant partnership. I think he appreciates it's been a difficult couple of windows, actually, with a lot of the signings not particularly working out so far. But it's funny, isn't it? Because Liam Rosenior got hammered for being too cautious when Chelsea went to Arsenal on Tuesday night. Eddie Howe had the opposite game plan. He tried to press high, force mistakes, get that early goal, and very quickly the tie slipped away from him. So you've got two English managers who've both been pilloried for very different approaches, ultimately in games that they were struggling to get through anyway, I think.
Yeah, well, listen, they were both up against it and they both chose different approaches. I actually believe that Chelsea got closer to achieving their goals than Newcastle did, but I don't think either of them were ever going to overturn that first leg deficit. It never looked really on the cards. And Newcastle in a bind, right? They've got no Miley, no Livramento, no Bruno, no Joel Linton, no Cher. They're all injury absentees. And some of the players that actually are playing in games are carrying injuries or just coming back from injury. They're playing in their third League Cup semi-final in 4 years. The trophy that they won last season, the first one for 56 years, they can still qualify for the last 16 of the Champions League. They are some way off in the Premier League in terms of getting into Europe next season, but you never know. This is a team that were fighting relegation when he joined.